This week in Year 2 we've been learning about multiplication. So what can help us in class? First and foremost, our fingers. So using our skip counting knowledge. For example, 3 times 5, skip counted 5, 5, 10, 15. Like I said earlier, your skip counting knowledge in 2s, 5s and 10s. And once all of this is consolidated, we will start to learn our times tables. So first we look at the fact that multiplication is the same as repeated addition. When explaining this to the children, we could show them 4 plates with 3 cupcakes on each. How would you find your answer? The children could say that 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and you get your answer of 12. We would explain that in multiplication, we use the times symbol, and we could write 4 groups of 3 equals 12, or 5 times 3 equals 12. When learning our times tables in class, we'll be focusing on our 2s, 5s and 10s and explaining what each number means. For example, that 2 times 3 equals 6. To understand 2 groups of 3 equals 6, not to be confused with addition at this point. So in class, we'll be using concrete materials. That would be cubes, counters, anything that we could make equal groups of 2s with, and showing these to the children so they can see clearly that 3 groups of 2 makes 6, that 5 groups of 2 makes 10. It's trying to eliminate the misconception and the confusion with addition at this point. As we said earlier, counting in 2s helps a lot, and the children have very good knowledge of this from year 1. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the way to 20, and encouraged to recognise patterns as well. When we're moving on to 5s, the same thing. We're going to use concrete materials first to introduce the concept of groups, and then children can easily see that 6 groups, 5 in each group, will give us 30, and so on. Our counting in 5s helps. They start to recognise patterns in the 1s from 0, 5, 0 to 5, 0 to 5. We would have covered this a lot in our number and place value chapter as well. When moving on to 10s, the children actually grasp this very easily. They're very familiar with skip counting in 10s, so we would try to really push the times tables in 10s, because once they've consolidated that, the rest would follow easily. So the relationships between the multiplication facts would start to kick in then, especially between the 2s, 5s and 10s. This simply means that when they're confident in these multiplication facts, they will start to see that when we say our 2s, we say 5 times 2 is 10. When we say our 5s, we say 2 times 5 is 10. When we say all the different numbers that correlate between the 2s, 5s and 10s, they just start to recall answers a lot quicker. This would move on to the commutative values property of multiplication. This simply means that when we write 3 times 5, it's the same as writing 5 times 3 when solving for an answer. The only time it may make a difference is if we're drawing arrays, and the children would then group the first number and draw the second number across. But when we're understanding and when we're solving multiplication, the commutative value means that 5 times 3 can be exchanged as 3 times 5, anything to the left of the equal sign. Lastly, when solving word problems, here the misconceptions are confusing the language with addition, especially in year 2. So we would encourage the children to draw to help them solve. So here we see that Emma buys 3 boxes of croissants. How many croissants does she buy altogether? So we could draw 3 boxes, 3 squares, 3 circles, and in each group we put 2 croissants. Here the children can do their repeated addition, so 2 plus 2 plus 2, and we would encourage them to do their multiplication number sentence, 3 times 2 equals 6. We will learn more key language as we go along, especially as we move into division in a few weeks. Thank you for your time.